All right, so in the last video, we took the square of a binomial, expanded it out, found the product by the box method, and then I tried to explain to you what the pattern was. So let's go back to that and let me say it so that you can write it down, okay? So what's the pattern? Well, the first and last terms will always be perfect squares. All right? If you don't know what a perfect square is, that just means you're taking a number and multiplying it to itself. So it's 5 times 5, 3 times 3, 8 times 8, 10 times 10. All right? The first and last terms. So if the first term here, this is letter B, I just left it up here, is 5x, then the perfect square would be 25x squared. 5x times 5x is 25x squared. That's how you would begin your product, your answer. And then if my second term is -2, well, remember, you got to include the negative, but anytime you do a perfect square, negative times negative is a positive. So you're always going to have a perfect square. It's always going to be plus. 2 times 2 is 4. So that means that you would start off with the 25x squared and end with the positive 4. First and last terms are always perfect squares. This will always be a positive. All right? It will always be a positive sign. All right? So that's how you start. Perfect square in the front, perfect square in the back. Now, in the middle, you're multiplying, so I can write that down. Middle term, you're multiplying and then doubling. Okay? Doubling your A and B. So 5x times -2 is -10x. -10x times 2 is, is -20x. That's what you put in the middle. And if you look on the front page, that was the answer. 25x squared minus 20x plus 4. So what is the pattern? First and last terms, perfect squares. Always a positive sign at the end. Middle term, multiply what you've got, and then double it. You've got your middle term. That will save you time. But like I said, if you don't recognize it, you're like, I'm not going to remember that. There's no way. Then just do the box method. The only difference is that this one, if you use the pattern, people that use the pattern will be done like that. All they got to do is just write it out. You're going to use the box method. Takes a few more minutes. Okay? So make sure you write this down. Now, on the back, we have another special binomial that produces a special product. And if you already have your notes there, it's called the sum and difference of binomials. All right? So I've got it over here if you can see it. Okay, so you know what sum and difference means. That means that you're adding and subtracting. I don't know how to, that's just the best it's going to have to be. But it looks like this. This is your general form. Okay, so that you know how to recognize it. The general form of this special binomial is that the first binomial you're adding, that's the sum. The second binomial you're subtracting, that's the difference. So when you see a binomial that looks like this, you got to recognize, oh, that's one of those special cases, which means that there's going to be a pattern to let me get my special product, so I can get it like quick. So here's what's going to happen. When you use the box method, I'm just following the sentence right there. When you use the box method to find the product, here's what you will realize, okay? Write this down in the blank. The diagonal terms will cancel out, okay? The reason why they cancel out is because you have this plus and this minus. Your diagonal they're going to be opposites of each other. So when you try to add them, you can't. They're just going to cancel each other out. And all that you're going to be left with is the top corner and the bottom corner. So write this down before we get to the examples. There will be no middle term. All right? That's how you're going to know you got a special case, because that's your special product. There's no middle term. Okay? So in the next video, we're going to do a couple of problems. I'll do the box method so you can see what this looks like. But if you recognize this is a special case, then you can just go straight from the